So here's another little experiment I've set up to explore this whole issue of dragging samples in and setting loops and loop lengths and so forth. Essentially what I've done is selected 3 samples. One is our Autobot serum wavetable that we used before. Another one is a straight up loop, guitar loop, found somewhere in my collection. And the other one, the final one, is a loon call that I found somewhere else in my collection. So in each case, I've got 4 of them, dragged each one in 4 times and set the first one to no loop, the second one to loop but with no loop length set. This is what you'd get if you used a sample map builder that you can download online that has the option to select a checkbox for loop. But that just checks this box. It doesn't set a loop length. So then in the third one, I've set a loop length of 256, and in the fourth one, a loop length of 2048, and repeated that for each of these 4 sounds. So if we go up to the top of the list here and just play a C with this unlooped serum wavetable, kind of get something out of it if the very high end of the octave range, but basically it's just crackles. These, you can see where I've set the wavetable position to simply loop back and forth. All right, let's try number 2, which is the loop set but no length set. Quite a bit more interesting and really easily tunable. Get different textures. The position doesn't really matter because it's looping the entire thing. So let's try number 3, which is the 256 loop. Okay, and there you can see the little loop brace that shows the part of the sample that's being looped, and we can adjust that and get a lot of tuning out of it. Number 4. And this is what we saw before with just straight up looping of the thing as a serum wavetable set to 2048. Very flexible and nice rich sound. So now I'm going to skip ahead to the first of the guitar loop. This is set not to loop. Very much the same. Just like before, some interesting noises, but no real playback. 256. Getting closer. And then all right, let's try the loon. They're all pretty similar in the way they react. Hey, there we go. We get a kind of a chirping sound. It's pretty interesting. This is the looped with no loop length. 14, get the... That's pretty close. Set retrigger to start it again every time. Yeah, I can move this up. Okay, let's go to... Now this is quite a short sample, so it's interesting that it seems to... We have to tune it down to get the same kind of response as we did from the shorter loop length. Anyway, it's powerful stuff. And of course we can pitch it just with the key we press. Okay, so obviously this is the key to getting what we want from samples we've dragged in. Of course, we have the problem that we have to set and adjust each sample we bring in separately. But there's an interesting workaround to this that I recently discovered, which I'd like to wind up this deep dive with, and that's that I've added some extra controls to the GUI for WaveMod, and they consist of a matched pair. We're not going to deal with this one. A length knob and a on and off switch. This comes from my reading in an old book on Reaktor 3, which covered the original version of NanoWave and described looping and loop lengths and so forth, but also mentioned the interesting idea that you could set the loop length from a GUI knob rather than in the sample map. Showed how to do it, included a downloadable little widget. So I tried it out, and lo and behold, it worked surprisingly well. This is our serum wavetable set to not loop. If we turn the switch on, and notice the length here is set to 2048, it sounds surprisingly like the same loop set with a specific loop length. So I've got the knob off, and now we're looping through here at 256. And let's see what happens when we turn the switch on. The interesting thing is that even though it's set to 256, now I'm setting it to 2048 with this knob, so sounds surprisingly little difference, but the great advantage is that I can really play around with different loop lengths. And down here at 1, it sounds pretty much like a non-looping thing, but here we've got various other sounds. Now, the other interesting thing about this is that we can really define ourselves what this loop length is. 1024. Sounds very similar. Not a whole lot of difference, but maybe 512. Basically getting finer control down at the low end, but it's all a very similar effect. Just amazing that we can get looping. So here I've gone back to the non-looped same sample, and it sounds exactly the same. It's basically taken over for whatever settings we might have made in the sample map. Let's try it on one of our so with a combination of octaves and notes we choose to play on the keyboard. We can get a completely wider range of options from any sample that we've dropped in without having to go in and individually adjust any of them. So this is the 2048 setting for the loon. If we turn the switch back on, seems like what we want to do is to be able to get the loop brace to be the right size compared to how it was when it was working well. So here the length switch is off. If I turn it on and keep it very low, notice that I've set it here to 512. We're getting very similar results. A little bit of clicking from that stepping. So anyway, the point seems to be that we can get a lot of the results from preset loop lengths with a lot more flexibility and some trade-offs, but a whole lot easier with these on-screen knobs. So I find them a terrific addition to both WaveMod and NanoWave. So here's the entry in the user library that I uploaded about a year ago that shows this feature added to NanoWave, and all you have to explains it. Here's the clipping from the book that explains how it works. So anyone can download this and find the addition inside NanoWave, copy it, and paste it into WaveMod. You double click on WaveMod to get inside it and look around for Wavetable 1. Double click on that and you find you go inside the oscillator inside here and find the sampler, and this is what gets copied and pasted out of the Sasso NanoWave. This little structure here just gets pasted in and connected up the way it's shown there. Then, of course, you have to go back out of that wavetable and do the same thing in Wavetable 2. And there it is again. And so it's got an on and off switch that takes it completely out of the system. It doesn't change WaveMod's behavior in any way when it's off.